In this video, I will be explaining how to create the surfaces when there are holes placed in between. First, let me show you what happens or what kind of mesh is produced when it is meshed with a direct mesh option. Press F12. Ensure that surface is now selected and pick on the face. Give the element size as 10 and pick on mesh. This is the type of mesh which is produced by default. The density of the mesh can be changed by continuously picking on the density or hold first mouse button on the number and drag the mouse to change it with the speed. Similarly here, pick on the mesh. This is the type of mesh which is produced, and we need to adjust the element densities to obtain the fine mesh. But we do not know at what point of time we will be having a fine mesh or a systematic mesh. First, click mouse button on the numbers will increase the numbers. Right click mouse button on the numbers will decrease the number of divisions. Pick on mesh. This is the type of mesh which will be produced by the default mesh. On this surface, I will show you how to do a systematic mesh. Pick on return. Come out of the meshing command or the meshing window. First of all, I want to capture the hole. To capture the hole, we need to put a washer around this circular hole. That will come in the quick edit option F11. Press F11 key and note the washer split option is here. Enter the offset value of washer as 10 and pick on the lines to offset, that is, pick on this line. 10 is a big value. Reject it. Enter the value as 8 itself and pick on this line. Or this value can be reduced to 6. Pick on this edge. Okay. Now split or divide this whole surface into 4 parts. For that, we need to place one node at the center. The node will be placed by using the node option in F8. Press F8. Pick on place the node at the center of a circle. Pick on this circle and pick on create. Now note that the point is created at the center of the circle. I want to divide this whole surface into 4 parts, vertically and horizontally. For that, I need to enter into surface editing option, that is Shift F9. I want to trim two surfaces, that is surface 1 and surface 2 with a plane. Pick on trim with surface bar plane. Which surface need to be trimmed? Pick on first surface and second surface. About which axis it need to be trimmed? I want to trim it horizontally, means perpendicular to the y-axis, passing through this base node. I want to create one imaginary plane and want to cut the surface about that plane. So make sure that y-axis is now selected and base node is activated. Pick on this base node, pick on trim. The surface is now divided in horizontal plane. Now these two surfaces I want to divide about the vertical plane. So pick on the surfaces, pick on this face and this face about the vertical plane, means a plane passing through this particular base node and perpendicular to x-axis. Ensure that x-axis is now selected and base node is already taken. Pick on trim. Now the surface has been divided into 4 quadrants. This is the first quadrant and this is the second quadrant. This is the third quadrant. Sorry, here it is not been splitted. Pick on return. To mesh such areas, use the option that is ruled mesh. Pick on the return. Ensure that the 2D is now selected and pick on ruled. In the first option, ensure that the line is selected from here, and in the second case also the line is selected. The first set of line, pick on that and select the inner line. Select the second set of line and pick on the top line. Pick on mesh, that is create. Select the wireframe, that is this wireframe, to visualize the mesh. Currently there are 4 elements created. The density of the element can be changed by picking on that number. Pick on the mesh. Increase the density as per the requirement. Once this density is achieved, pick on return. Pick on the shaded mode of the elements. Now I want to create the elements in this area. For that I need to interpolate these particular nodes on this line. For that, the option is F8. Pick on F8, select the option Interpolate on line. It is asking on which line it need to be interpolated. Select this line, pick on the node list, select the first node and the second node. In between there are 3 nodes, which means I want to interpolate 3 nodes between these two on this line. Pick on create, pick on return, pick on return. Again, ensure that 2D is selected, pick on the ruled. Now, instead of line, I want to take the nodes option here and here also the nodes option. I want to have the nodes which is not the list. Right click on this, pick on by path. This is activated. Pick on the first node and the last node. When we choose by path, the nodes will be captured between the first and the last node. In the second option, ensure that the node list is selected. Pick on the node list and select the node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pick on create. Increase the density as per the requirement. Pick on mesh again. This is the type of mesh which is created. Pick on return. Note that we have the nodes which are created here. These nodes are called as temporary nodes. To clear these nodes, pick on Shift F2, select clear all, pick on return, pick on return again. Now again ensure that 2D is selected, pick on ruled. I want to create the elements between this node path and this line. For that, first option is node path. Pick on the first and pick on the last nodes, so the in between nodes will be captured. And in the second option, select the lines. Pick on this particular line and use the option create. Change the density of the elements. Pick on mesh and increase the density of this line. Pick on mesh again. Now there is a proper pattern of a mesh that is created. Pick on return.